Good morning and welcome to the Institute of Christian and Masonic Studies. I am Reverend Leroy Stewart Sr. and I am assisted, of course, by my CEO and son, Leroy Stewart Jr., 33rd degree, Sergeant Grand Inspector General, Commander, King Jesus No. 12, Knights Templar. Today, we will address our Masonic audience and hopefully bring some closure to a little something that I put out some time ago now. For those of you who are aware or had a chance to see a couple of my prior shoots from here at the Institute, you're aware that a few weeks, maybe a month or so back, I posed a question. And that question seemed to have taken on a life of itself. The responses that I've gotten, we've gotten here at the Institute from that question has just been extraordinary. Obviously some positive, some negative, and we're thankful here at the Institute, incidentally, for all the responses, for all the people who viewed those shoots, and for the people who have taken time to give some thought into it, and especially those people who've taken time to respond, be that positive or be that negative. One of the things I certainly picked up from some of the responses is that one of my responders had coined the phrase, a name for me that is really just, I kind of like it. He said I was a snake oil salesman. I kind of like that. May use that in the future if I don't need a copyright. At any rate, that question that I posed, in all sincerity now, that question that I posed was this: who owns Freemasonry? Not a long question. It's not multi-layered. And it does not demand a complicated response. That question has not been answered. That is the reason I am today addressing the Masonic wing of the Institute of Christian and Masonic Studies. In the length of time that question has been free falling through the digital universe, no one, hear me good now, no one has answered that question. That's what we're going to address today. Why hasn't anyone answered that simple question? Who owns Freemasonry? Well, all good things must end. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the comments, pro and con, positive, negative. But that question must be answered. The answer to that question hopefully will bring light to a lot of the brethren who, quite frankly, right now are confused. Certainly it will bring purpose, redirection to the craft itself, because it seems to be at the center point of controversy. Let's lay some controversy to rest today. What do you say? Who owns Masonry? I'm not going to give you the answer, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you some information that will point you to it as surely as a GPS reading on your navigator system. Let's go right to it. The question: who owns Freemasonry? Presupposes that those interested are Masons. The controversy of who is regular, who is clandestine, who is legitimate, etc. They are all moot points. They do not exist in Masonry. A Mason is a Mason is a Mason. And now, I'm going to give you a little information that I want you to think about. Please don't respond until you think about this. And if you do decide to respond pro or con, be prepared to explain this who, as a Mason, entered apprentice, fellow craftsman, or master Mason, who did you take? Who or whom did you swear your Masonic obligation? Don't jump quick. I want that question in the backdrop, just like this backdrop behind me here. I want that other question in the background. Who owns Freemasonry? Who did you take your obligation to? Told you I'm not going to answer for you, but I'm going to put you on the right track. When I was a boy, they used to have those little toy trains that you could wind up. And all you had to do was wind those little rascals up, and once you got them set on that track, boy, they take off and you go, where did it go? I'm going to put you on the right track, but I'm going to let you put yourself in position to be that. Who did you take your obligation to? Who did you swear to dedicate your life to? Did you, oh, it's going to get ugly. I'm going to sell some snake oil. Did you swear to dedicate your life to the Grand Lodge of England, born in 1717? Did you swear? Did you give your oath? Did you promise to give a life to the Prince Hall fraternity? Whether there was the Prince Hall affiliation or whether there was the Prince Hall association. What? You didn't know there was the Prince Hall affiliation and the Prince Hall association? Well, I'll be doggone. Let's go on. Now, for the boys, I know all my peers, brothers, don't y'all get mad at me. Let me go a little further. Show you on fire. Did you swear your obligation? Did you promise a lifetime of service to John G. Jones? Did you swear in that position to give your life to the 5-letter international brothers? See, fellas, the problem is this. Oh, I'm moving ahead of myself. Perhaps some of you listening to the shoot, when's the last time you went back and reviewed your personal obligation? When did you go back past the committees? When did you go back past the newsletters? When is the last time you went back, got quiet, got still, took self-inventory and asked yourself, am I living a life? Am I giving a life in Masonry to the one I swore it to? Now, I asked you, did you swear your oath to the Grand Lodge of England, born in 1717? Did you know before 1717? I know I got some historians out there. I know I got some people out there working hard on that organizational side, waiting on me to say something that you can make controversial. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you a little something controversial. Did y'all know that once upon a time, there wasn't no Grand Lodge? Didn't know that, huh? Did y'all know once upon a time that all brothers did, wherever they were, whatever town, whatever country, whatever village, they just tried to get together once a year, called a Grand Assembly. By word of mouth. The oldest brother there took the chair as the Grand Master. You see, long before there was such a thing as a Grand Lodge, Masonry has always had its Grand Master. See, there was no such a thing before 1717 as one group of people telling another group of people that they couldn't be Masons unless you ride with us, unless you affiliate with us, unless you associate with us, unless we make you, unless you got our paper, unless you got our signature. Well, let me tell you something. It was a damn lie then. It's a damn lie now. Matter of fact, where's some people at now? Understand that kingdom? Oh, they're trying to vote now to hold on to the last 1 or 2 parts of that parliament. So let me say this to all you brothers that base your Masonic legitimacy on some people who invented the creature called Grand Lodge to their specifications against Masonic unspoken oral law. Where they at today? Where they at today? For those of you all that believe our beloved four-letter brother, no, he ain't said that. No, he ain't said that. Snake oil salesman ain't said that. Yeah, he did. How many of y'all out there? How many of y'all out there following the count 1, 2, 3, 4-letter brother called Prince Hall? How many of y'all out there? Oh, that's right, y'all 3-letter, ain't you? Association and affiliation, aren't you? Y'all didn't hear that schism between 3 letters and 4 letters. I thought they healed that in 1813. I thought that was put behind your organizational boys. No, oh, I called it, I said it, it slipped out my mouth. I'm calling y'all organizational Masons. I'm so sorry, because that's all you care about. Who did you take your obligation to? Did you know there's something in our science, in our art, it's called the mystic tie? Do you know what the mystic tie is among every Mason and Squaw over there in Zimbabwe, over there in Mississippi, up yonder in Alaska, down there in Antarctica, way over yonder in Australia, back down there in India? Do you know the one thing that tied every Mason together on this earth, in this world? No, it's not some piece of paper from somebody. No, it's not some stamp from somebody. The thing that makes every Mason brothers is the obligation you take to the supreme architect of the universe. I have yet, and I've been in this thing now over 30 years. Yeah, I can't a little wait. I've been in this thing over 30 years. I have been to multiple initiations, made a few myself, participated in a couple myself. But I'm going to tell you something. I've yet to hear somebody down there in due Masonic form take an obligation to the Grand Lodge of England. I'm still waiting to hear somebody take an obligation to the Prince Hall fraternity, whether it's the associated part or the affiliated part. I'm still waiting. I'm going to really put something on the historian mind now. I'm still waiting to hear somebody take an obligation to the National Grand Lodge Compact, which went up in smoke too. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me they took a Masonic obligation to give their life to John G. Jones. I'm waiting on some brother to tell me that he was put down in due form and took his first degree or second degree, but my God, his Master Mason's degree to the International Brotherhood, 5-letter brother. I am still waiting for you to tell me who owns Masonry. It seems to me whoever owns it is the one that you would take your obligation to. Or am I deducting wrong here? And I said deducting wrong here. Do I have a right string and a wrong yo-yo? Brothers, while y'all sitting around out here organizationally fighting each other, guess what? There are other groups. How should I put this? Let's just say there are other interests that's taking y'all lodges and taking your grand lodges. While y'all sitting up arguing about among yourselves who is and who ain't, who regular and who can't, who clandestine and who genuine, did you know you got other interests that's setting up their own grand lodges and don't give a damn about the Grand Lodge of England, don't give a damn about Prince Hall or affiliation or association, don't give a damn about John G. Jones, don't give a damn about the International Brother. They're going about their business, setting up their own grand lodges, doing what they want to do, and calling themselves Masons. Why the 33rd degree Sergeant Inspector Generals when you need? I thought y'all was supposed to inspect this. I thought y'all was supposed to see that pure ancient craft masonry remains intact. I thought y'all was given a charge Masonry died. Damn you is dying. Because you boys are tied up in this organizational mess that did not exist before 1717. Oh, buddy. Before you decide to respond, everybody that hears this, see this, and you had one brother in a response tell me, call yourself a Mason. When's the last time you took self-inventory of your life as a Mason? When is the last time you adhered to your perfect points of entrance? When is the last time that, or was that the last time that you, when you was in the Masonic position taking your obligation, was that the last time you got down on your knees and conferred with the one you gave your obligation to? I'm talking about the supreme architect of the universe. I understand, I have never heard the supreme architect of the universe tell no Mason that he was not genuine. I've never heard the supreme architect of the universe tell no Mason that he was clandestine. I've never even heard nobody tell nobody that the supreme architect of the universe told no Mason that got down and put down in Masonic, oh Lord have mercy, Masonic posture, and took an obligation to dedicate their lives, to give their lives through our act and our signs to the supreme architect of the universe, and he turned around and told them, you need to try. You need a grand large. Brothers, what I'm trying to say to you is this. Y'all need to come up off that, oh, what? Wait a minute. Second degree. Don't it say something about two kinds of mixture? Brothers, y'all need to come out from under that organizational side for a while and see, number one, what's really threatening and who is really threatening the craft. You need to quit bickering among yourselves about some kind of paper you hanging on the wall. The supreme architect ain't interested in what you hanging on the wall. He ain't interested in what you wearing on the back of your car. He ain't interested in wearing no papers that you got from nobody. He is interested in, are you keeping your word to him? Who owns Masonry? Well, who did you take your obligation to? I'm not talking about your brother. I'm not talking about, oh, did you take your obligation to the worshipful master of your lives? Did you take your obligation to the brethren of your lives? Oh, you took it to your grandmother. Then you're not a Mason. A Mason is a Mason is a Mason. The reason I can meet another Mason on the street, I can meet him in church, I can meet him on the job, I can meet him in the pool hall, I can meet him in the supermarket, and he look at me and I look at him, and through the mechanics of the sign, the grip, the word, and the perfect points of my entrance, we come together, we meet on the level with this one understanding. He took an obligation to the supreme architect of the universe, and I did too. I don't give a damn who he under. He don't give a damn who I'm under. He took an obligation to the supreme architect of the universe. I took that same obligation to the supreme architect of the universe, and that is the mystic tie that binds. Who owns Masonry? Who did you take your obligation to? Go back and look at that. The supreme architect of the universe ain't told no man nowhere that got down, put down in Masonic posture to take the first, second, and or third degree that they were not regular, they were not genuine, they were not clandestine, they was not a Mason. He ain't never done it. Who are you? Come out of that organizational mess and you better get spiritual, because I'm going to tell you something. You need to know who is really attacking the craft. These other interests, they go about their business, setting up, doing all kind of things, and we argue. Who owns Masonry? Piggyback that with this question. Who did you take your Masonic obligation to? As long as you're genuine in his sight, as long as you do your best to keep your word to the obligation you swore to him, then don't you worry about what no man, what no body of men, what no organization tell you. You just walk in the square of the perpendicular, holy to the word of the supreme architect of the universe. Now, if you care to respond to this message here at the Institute of Christian and Masonic Studies, I'm no longer impressed with your organizational arguments about rules and regulations. I'm looking at communities where if it was some Masons in them, I think the neighborhoods would be a little better. I'm looking at a world where young men out there, if they could see real men, if they could see real Masons, like we saw that made us want to be one, I think things would be a little different. I think you spent so much time in organizational masonry trying to say who is and who ain't among yourselves that the rest of the folk will look at us and say, ain't none of you. Beep, beep, beep. Get with the program. And I say again, in this last week that passed, September, I believe it's the 21st. There was a big boat held over there in England the other day. A vote concerning the British Empire. A lot of you boys got your papers from. They're struggling like hell, ain't they? I'm talking about the country, the people, trying to maintain an identity. Folks, y'all like me to go burn up all that paper and get back down on your knees and try to make peace with the supreme architect of the universe so that you can go back into your homes, your jobs, your neighborhoods, your churches, and you be that salt of the earth, that light of the world. Now, once again, my name, Reverend Leroy Stewart, sing. And God said, let there be light. And I say, who the hell did you take your obligation to? See ya!